Everybody, welcome to Highgate Selectboard meeting for Thursday, May 1st, 2025. First order of business, please. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, you've been practicing for...
Everybody comfortable?
I noticed. Got somebody coming in?
Richard Noel.
Okay. All right, next we got public comment. What? Sue, nothing?
I'm giving you a break.
This could be a quick meeting.
Be good at your work.
Okay. All right, anybody else for public comment? Okay. Moving on, we got to approve the select board minutes from April 17th. Everybody get a chance to review those. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion we accept as I amended with the one correction.
Second.
All those say aye.
Aye.
All right. Also review and approve the check warrant. Are we doing it in this section or are we doing it in?
We've been doing the ththings you need a motion on and to approve in this top section, and yes, Shelley will be here to answer questions.
Okay. Wow. Did everybody get a chance to look at the check warrant?
Make a motion to approve the check warrant.
A second.
All those say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next we got Tim Smith from obviously
CIDC.
FCIDC, and I can't remember what the acronym stands. Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation. Yes. Here to brief us on some stuff.
Thank you for having me. Hello,
Thank you for coming.
Hello.
Richard, no track tonight? No. It's too nice out.
Tim, you got 5 minutes. 5.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
She's a very strict timekeeper. Hack.
Thanks for having me. For those who don't know, I'm Tim Smith with Franklin County Industrial Development. We try to get around to all of the select board meetings in the county at least once a year, if not more. You know, our main, we've been involved with Highgate with the airport discussion and the water and sewer extension. Had discussions there locally. You know, I know that we're still sitting on a $25,000 grant for field days. If they find a new spot, we have money for permitting and legal fees. I haven't heard anything new lately. That's out there. A lot of questions as I go around to the different towns regarding Perigo and the closing of Perigo and the loss of as many as 420 jobs. Still sounds like they're looking at June timeframe of 2027 to be closing. We're always optimistic that someone else would come along to buy that. It happened twice already. Wyeth went out of business, sold to PBM, and PBM sold to Perigo. The difference now between them is that the equipment's a little more dated, and some FDA guidelines have changed a little bit over the years, so it made it more stringent. So the state has reached out to Perigo. They've had one conversation. We, as an FCIDC and Georgia Industrial Development, hope to meet with local folks next week to finalize some discussions on other things, the water plant, that type of stuff. So for us, Franklin County Industrial Development redid did a strategic plan a few years ago, and basically sort of refocusing a little bit to invest more in communities and not that we're steering away from industrial development or manufacturing. It's just that the ones we have now are struggling to find employees. So we've refocused a little bit, focused on the towns and villages. We're doing a lot with the schools, the high schools. 2 weeks ago, we were one of the partners with the apprenticeship day at MDU. I think we had 45 businesses there. All the 8th and 9th, not all, the majority of 8th and 9th graders from the county, Maple Rock, attended to get a feel about what's out there when the time comes and we're out of high school. And we've been asked, what about the 10th and 11th and 12th graders? Well, we've been doing basically a monthly visit to a different manufacturer or employer over the last year and a half. The group's going to Milan this coming Wednesday. We were at Beta last month, Ben and Jerry's, Barry Calvo. So we're exposing those individuals to, I think we went to Border Patrol. So we're getting out with the kids and educating them about what's available, what the pay is, what the benefits are, trying to get them thinking more about it if they're leaving high school, going to be graduating from high school. The other thing we know is that there was a survey done mainly in the Maple area, but out of 186 kids, 45% are saying they're looking at college. So that leaves us 55% of their graduating classes, if they spread it out across the schools, are going to be in the area looking for jobs. So we're trying to educate them. I think the cost of college is discouraging a lot of folks. And so those are just in a quick nutshell some of those things that we're doing. I've been in conversation with Carrie. We understand that you also have, you're working on the village core, obviously, and you're trying to figure out the water situation. When we did our strategic plan, we made a concerted effort to invest in towns. So we had given 10,000 to Bakersfield to do some preliminary work on the Brigham Academy in terms of possibly turning Brigham Academy into housing. We had 10,000 in Swanton when they redid the Memorial Auditorium. I think we gave 10,000 to Highgate to use for education on the water and sewer project at the airport. And I'm here to say we'll be contributing 10,000 to your feasibility study. I think it's just under 20,000, right? So we can help offset that cost by 10,000. I guess I would caution you, don't make that an every month request, but we can assist you. And that's what we're doing that with. If you've been in Enosburg, you've seen what we've done with the early block and renovating that. We've been, we do a lot of work in Georgia as well. So we want to be more engaged with towns, and as things come up, don't hesitate to contact us. Let us know, and I can't always guarantee we can come to the table with money, but we can help in other ways as well. So, unless, I don't know if anyone has any, a couple of things locally, nothing happening with the Vermont brick plant. It's been gutted. Trying to look for someone to purchase it or to rehab it. And then the other vacant property locally is the former Lucio Farms or Swan Valley Cheese in Swanton. Not much is happening there. And mainly due to the fact that the two lagoons, the treatment lagoons for cheese are dealing with those is ongoing conversation. So.
Do they still, you said that the brick plant they closed it, but what about, there's 100 and some acres out there, they still?
Yeah, Travis Belisle and his partner, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's right. And still own the land, still own the building. The building sits on 5 acres, and I think it's 170 acres of out back, and we're going to try to use that as some materials, right? I think stamped it, don't hold me to that, when they were working through the permitting on that. So they're still same owners, still trying to move forward with some activity.
Tim, we talked a while back about the airport industrial park, and after the FAA got in and extended the runway, and when the water goes up to halfway up the airport, is there still any more interest by Canadian? I know right now with the tariffs and the trade war going on, probably not, but is there any interest from the Canadians in warehousing down there?
Yeah, well, down there, I don't know specifically, but I do know that we had, in the early stages of the tariff discussions, we had the state had 2 or 3 inquiries from Canadian businesses looking to locate closer to the border. And basically what they're looking for is more warehouse and assembly. So they're looking to do some assembly here and then sell their products in the state. Nothing's been finalized. I would say that we have no vacant space outside of the 2 we just talked about. There's no vacant space for someone to come and access it. We had a visit in November with a Canadian company that makes pool amenities, you know, the flopping flower. And it's painted, a gentleman in the Energizer building, Finished Solutions, paints their product for them as powder coating. And they wanted to be in Franklin County, next to him. We met with them, they didn't want to wait 18 months to build a building. 3 months later, it's on the TV that Channel 5 has them buying the building in Plattsburgh. Because it was one ready to go, in good condition. So that's how quickly things can happen. So we just don't have any. We're working on that. We have a meeting today on potential spec buildings. So there may be some going on, but right now we don't have anything.
Okay. The Perigo jobs, the 420, you said that they're, if it doesn't get bought out, how many of those people live in Franklin County? And you know,
I don't know the exact number. I think the majority for sure,
Okay.
from what I understand. They've historically have had a long, employees had longevity, 30 years. I just spoke to a board member at Georgia Industrial Development, her brother works there, has been there since 92. And I think there's a lot like that. There's a lot like that who have since retired. So I think they're, and that's the difficult part.
hope they get bought out. If not, hope we can find somebody who can get them some jobs.
We're told that it could make for a good brewery. You know, it's when you talk value-added food industry, it's you know, it's that skill set of which Franklin County has a lot of food industry. So the transition of skills would be valuable for sure.
Good deal. Any questions for us?
I don't think so. Karen and I had a discussion. As things move, if we can figure out, we'd have to assist.
We love getting your help. Love moving it all forward, so.
My 5 minutes up, Karen.
Yes.
Yeah, she's stomping her foot over there, I can see it. Yeah.
Thank you for making time. I know you
Thanks for
gotta-
coming.
Thank you very much.
Here, don't forget to get one of these for speaking.
It's a fair trade.
Yeah, thanks.
Next on the hot seat.
Hello.
Hello, Tim and I have been following each other around.
See that?
Thanks for having me tonight. I'm Catherine Dimitrick with Northwest Regional Planning Commission, and we are in a state with no county government. We're the closest thing Vermont has. We're the governmental organization in between the towns and the state. And as you know, we spend most of our time providing technical assistance to our communities in projects that they're working on. We've been with Highgate since the beginning on the Village Core project, and so excited to see it moving forward. You know, Greta, as you know, has been working really closely with the town, with Carrie and previous administrators and the Planning Commission, moving these projects forward. I'm happy to say that in addition to what Tim just let you know, we've been able to identify $7,500 that we have in a grant that we can repurpose to help support the water feasibility study. So between Franklin County Industrial Development, Northwest Regional Planning Commission, it's almost 100% paid for.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we just want this to move forward. We're so excited about the possibilities for the community, for the transformation of Highgate, and just what it will do for the region as a whole, housing opportunities, and it goes on and on. So very happy to tell you that. The other thing I wanted to just touch base on before I talk about the regional plan is that your hazard mitigation plan expires this year. So this is the bad news part. Your hazard mitigation plan expires this year. All of the grant funding programs that either we had or the state had that typically helps pay for the cost of updating those are gone. So there is no funding available, but your plan still expires. We could follow up with more details with Carrie, but they typically cost between $9,000 to $12,000 to update. And what it gets the town is if there ever are hazard mitigation grants available in the future, which there are still some, you're eligible. Also, if there is a disaster and there is a FEMA declaration, you get a reduced local match. So it does, potentially pay off in the end. So we'll provide more information, but I did want to bring that to your attention. Unfortunately, normally I would come and say, and we have this grant that will help pay for it, but we're not able to do that anymore, unfortunately. And
When
then,
does it actually expire? What date?
what was that?
What is the date on the
I think
expiration?
it's more toward the end of the calendar year, but I'll get you, when we follow up with more details, we'll get you everything. And then I just want to let you know that we haven't forgotten about Macy Road. We have struggled to get funding sources to agree to pay for this project, and it's so frustrating for us as for you. But we are trying. We do have funding through a clean water program that we are using to try to do some additional studies upstream of the issue area to help use that data to convince the state that some other funds can be used to help the issues there. So we haven't forgotten about it. It's just not, we're striking out everywhere, which is very frustrating for everyone.
Yeah.
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 But we keep trying. And then I just wanted to touch base with you about the regional plan, because there were some changes made to state law last year that impact the regional plan. So I'll try to give this to you in a very quick nutshell. We're just like the town has a town plan, we have a regional plan. Just like you have a future land use map in your town plan, we have one of those in our regional plan. Yours serves as the basis for your zoning regulations that you update and manage in relation to the plan. Ours didn't really matter too much before this new law was passed last year. But now with Act 181 that was passed, our regional plan will do two things. It will help determine Act 250 jurisdiction for projects and when we need an Act 250 permit, and it will serve as the boundaries for the state designation program. So you just got a neighborhood designation area, you had a designated village, you have to do separate applications for those. You won't have to do those in the future. We'll draw it on our future land use map. It'll get approved by a state board, and then you're done. Like, there's nothing that you'll have to do for future applications. For Highgate, we'll be able to draw that center area that's eligible for incentives a lot bigger than what you currently have. So it will expand the area that's eligible for the incentive programs. In terms of Act 250, the way the regional plan will come into play now is, before this law was passed, if you built 10 housing units or more, you needed an Act 250 permit. You trigger Act 250. With the passage of this law, it did two things to change that. First, right away, all the area within your designated village and a quarter mile around that, you can build 50 units or more, 50 units or less, without needing an Act 250 permit. So it's really trying to eliminate at least that barrier for housing. I know there's a host of other ones, but at least eliminate that one in the areas of the village and a quarter mile around it. When we do our new regional plan, that new center area that I just mentioned that's going to be bigger than what you currently have, that whole area will be eligible for that Act 250 jurisdiction change. So within that whole plan growth area that will draw around the center and the surrounding area, you'd be able to build 50 units on 10 acres or less without needing an Act 250 permit. Combined with the water and the wastewater, this could be a real great combination for the community of Highgate moving forward. The law requires towns to decide to opt in, so you'll have to make a decision at some point in the August, September time period about whether you want that Act 250 jurisdiction of 50 units or less, not needing an Act 250 permit. If you don't opt in, then it will revert back to 10 units. So even within your village core, if you build 10 units or more, you need Act 250. But you have the choice of saying, actually in our growth area, we want 50 units to be the trigger. So we'll come back to you again in the August, September time period to give you more information about that decision and answer any questions you might need to have. We are working closely with your planning commission on the actual map itself for Highgate to show what that looks like. Greta met with them in March and we'll continue to meet with them about that. We'll be doing broad public outreach and engagement over the summer, and our hope is to have our draft regional plan done in the September, October time period. So you'll be hearing more about it, but I just wanted to give you the intro and make sure you knew that was going on, because it is a decision you'll have to make down the road.
It's good to see that the state's making some progress with the Act 250.
I think so too. It makes sense.
Yeah, it
Let's
does,
make it easier
yeah.
to develop where we say we want development to happen.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, that's good news. Just going back to the Mason Road thing,
Yeah.
I've been on the board for 5 years. That was one of the first things I had to deal with.
Yeah.
We're still dealing with it. Nothing's really been done. Does it have to fall down the bank to get the state's attention? I mean, it kind of seems like we're almost there.
It kind of seems like it does.
Crisis management is the only way to get it done.
Kind of seems
Instead
like
of-
it at this point.
Okay.
We are trying, we have one last effort where we're trying to do some analysis upstream to see if there are any things that need to be fixed upstream that can be fixed. Because that is one of the things that they want to make sure is that they're not going to fix this problem and then have the upstream issues and make it happen again. So we are using some of our water quality money to look at that upstream and see if we can answer that question in a way that satisfies folks enough to support using water quality funds to fix that.
Can't
So
remember.
that's our next
Okay.
try.
I have another question, but that's more for the environmental agency. Actually, you might be able to answer, but the rivers, everybody's talking climate change and all that with the rivers rising and everything getting flooded all the time. It was an older person that told me this, but he said back in the day that all the rivers used to be dredged to keep the water, instead of going this way, keep it in the middle and deep where it wouldn't expand out and undermine the banks. Is that something that's being talked about at all as one of the remedies for that area?
Not for that area. It is, there's a lot of new science that shows that dredging is not the panacea that some people believe that it is, which doesn't mean it doesn't have some limited places where it works.
Yeah.
And I know it is being examined and talked about, especially in some of the Caledonia County areas that flooded, that just left these giant deposits that are just wreaking havoc. So it's being talked about in limited spaces like that. But in terms of it ever being a widespread practice again, I don't see that happening.
Okay. All right, well, we'll talk more about the opt-in option, I guess, in August and September, but that's seems common sense to say
Yeah,
yes to something like that.
I agree, but
Yeah.
it's your decision,
Okay.
not mine.
Unless there's any downside of saying yes to that, which I'll have to look this act up this first I heard it tonight.
I mean, I don't think so. And we have a lot of information on our website, and we have a video training on the whole law, which is, there's a lot more to it. It's 180-page bill, but I had 5 minutes, so you got the condensed version.
Their foot's not tapping yet.
No, not yet, not yet.
Okay,
I have one question though.
yeah,
I remember, I've been doing this long enough that I remember working with Sean on a town actually doing their own hazard mitigation update. Is it required to use a consultant? Because I've met with fire department, DPW.
No, I don't think that
Okay.
it is required to use a consultant, and we can also help too. And if you're willing to do some of the legwork, then we could help you with a reduced costs.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay.
Yeah, I got a question for you. Where in Highgate? Where's the core? You keep talking. 50 units. Where?
So where your village does it, I'm looking for.
I don't think we have a map that indicates that, but village core area, Richard, largely
Yeah, but they're gonna go outside that, right?
by.
Yes, right now, it's largely the village core area plus a quarter-mile ring around that. That's right now.
So I'm gonna be right in the middle with a bunch of cows.
Yes. It doesn't mean you have to build housing, it just means that you could.
Well, there's no change is gonna happen.
Yeah. And then when we do the regional plan, that boundary would change, it would be different. It won't be the village plus a quarter-mile, it would be something that makes sense based on your town plan and based on your regulations.
So before you do that, you're gonna have a lot of planning, right? You know, I think where I'm at is, you're getting out into agriculture country, you know, and there's still some cattle out there. And I've been reading on TV, newspapers, they having trouble in Enosburg, where the cattle get out and who's following. I see that coming to Highgate. You know, it isn't the residents now, it ain't these residents, it's the ones that are coming from the county here. That they see a white-faced cow out there, oh boy, heck's gonna break loose, you know? So I think there's gonna be some planning,
Absolutely.
you know, I think we're jumping the gun here.
Well, I think that's why we're working with your planning commission to make sure that any map that we do and these changes make sense for Highgate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a balance. You know, we do need more housing, we do want growth, and we need to be careful about where it goes, but we also need to, you know, plan for it and be ready for it and support it. So it's balance.
Anybody else?
Yep,
Mr. Noah?
50 units, individual or solid units?
However, it doesn't matter, it could be, you know, 5, 10, it could be 5, 10 unit buildings or 50 house, individual houses.
And now the unit that's possible coming into the center of town,
Yep,
City Square, that's a 30.
yep, so
31
that'll go through
That's
no
fine?
Act 50, yep.
Okay.
Yep, and none of the town regulations go away, and none of the other state regulations go away, so it still has to meet any wetlands or any right-of-way stuff or any town zone regulations.
It should speed up the process, is what you're saying, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Ty?
So with the, I guess it, I don't know, you'll know or not, but with the talks of redistricting the school districts in the state, do you hear of how it may affect where residential growth is versus where commercial growth? Is there any talks on how, if the governing body of a school district is in Chittenden County, are people going to opt out of living rurally because their kids aren't governed locally anymore? Do you hear any of that?
I haven't heard that particular concern about that proposal, but I've heard lots of other ones. Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, thank you very much, Catherine.
I hope my next visit will be to tell you about the project-based tip that the legislature's considering now, and fingers crossed they pass, because that's gonna be another potential way to
Okay.
fund this stuff. Okay?
Okay,
Thanks for having me.
thank you, thanks for coming. All right, next up we got Keenan, is it Nigel or Knight?
Nigel.
Nigel, okay. He's gonna be the new Highgate Health Officer. It's not yet, coming up. Not quite official yet, we're still waiting on some paperwork from the state. But if you wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah, Keenan Nigel. I currently work for the Department of Health in the Food and Lodging Program, doing routine inspections of businesses that serve food and lodging that way. I was formerly with the New York State Department of Health since 2011, and then moved over here in 2014. Been over here ever since then. So now I'm just kind of looking to branch out in the community a little bit more. Currently live in Franklin, but they're not interested. So I'm out here in Highgate, met Mary through my travels here, and she said, hey, this sounds cool. Awesome. So happy to answer any questions if anybody has anything that way.
Okay,
Cool.
thank you for offering to be our health officer.
Yes,
Of
thank you.
course, yeah.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can formally onboard you who are here in the
Yeah.
next couple of weeks or
We'll
so.
wait for the stage.
Yeah.
Just reach out when you're ready and I'll go with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me, man. Great.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, next up we got the fire department equipment discussion. Looks like they're seeking to buy a really nice toy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I was looking at the pictures, wish I could get one, but I don't have that kind of money for that kind of toy. Anyways, what do you guys, let the public know, what do you guys want to buy?
We're looking to purchase a side-by-side Ford 1000 Polaris Ranger with a trailer and a water tank with a pump with a hose reel. And all of that would be just under 44,000-ish.
There's many pictures as I go through the package, so.
Well, we went to 3 different places to
Okay.
get quotes just to see what the price difference is. They're all pretty much all the same. About 32,000, 33,000 for what we want. But I also brought it back to the members that they picked up the Ranger versus the Can-Am and the John Deere.
And just for the record, how are you funding this?
We have it in our fundraiser.
Chicken barbecue, raise
Chicken
money for
barbecue
this?
over the last 30 plus years.
30, wow, that's
I
awesome.
don't know, it seems like it anyway. And obviously I went to Shelley first to make sure we had the money
Yeah,
before I even wasted anybody's time.
awesome. Are you getting the tracks on it too, or?
Yes, we're gonna have to try. Some tires will come with it too, if we decide to put those back on.
Yeah.
We can figure that out.
And what would be the purpose for the vehicle that the fire department would use it for?
Brush fires that are out in woods, whoever's field, patrolling or getting on the rail trail in the wintertime if there's foresee an accident or whatever. We get into tight places where we can't get our utility truck in.
Okay. And you got the grand list price in there, because I got many prices not sure that,
For the Ranger, it was $32,290.
that's with all the toys on it?
That's with all, yes, with because we wanted a front windshield, a back window, a wiper. We've got half doors versus the netting, because that seems like that's a big problem. We'll see. We're going to the trailer right there on the roadside.
Okay.
And the trailer's $38.95. And then the bot, or the little water tank with the pump and hose reel will be, we can get it out of our means. And then you want, we could probably pick it up when I'm up that way for work.
So grand total, 32,290 plus the 38.95?
38.95 and $72.50 for the water tank. Pump and reel.
So you're looking around 46,000, 46, 47.
Yeah, somewhere's there. We can make it up a little 44, but
That's tax and delivery and all that?
no tax.
No tax,
No tax.
no. Okay. Municipality, that's right.
Well, there'll be the, obviously, the destination fee on
Yeah.
the machine like everything else.
Okay.
But there won't be a destination fee for the pump because we'll go get that.
Nice.
Because it's close enough for we just go get it.
What color is this gonna be?
Red.
Red, fire truck,
Why is the rule out of order?
because it's orange.
Personally, I was okay with camo because you never had the strap.
What was the answer?
For the
What?
Can-Am.
No, the motor.
Because we didn't go with the motor, that's why. We didn't seek out the motor.
I think the motor would be too slow for quick response.
Don't come off, you know.
Well, and then if you put tracks on it, even half.
You're talking 15.
Because they said the Polaris would be the fastest, even with tracks on it. It would be, it still cuts it down in half. It cuts every machine down in half. As far as speed wise, the Polaris would still be the quickest. Let's say we're out to race
have room that you're storing it right in your station?
Yes, we do, right where the
Where the
boat
boat
was.
is? And is it, that's,
Wherever Richard's boat was.
that's, the cost includes all the lights and,
No.
and radio?
Nope, that will be a later purchase. All that cost also will be for them to install the windows and the tracks too. And the lights.
I've never had tracks on it in my interview, but is that something that you guys be able to do, or do you gotta take it to a service or
Well,
the tracks?
when we purchase it, they're gonna put the tracks on.
So it's staying, like, all year round, you're staying with
It's gonna
tracks?
stay
Okay,
on
gotcha.
unless we decide that we can probably figure it out, or we'll see what the. But right now, the cost is, we're just gonna keep the tracks on.
Okay.
All the sugar makers switched themselves over, so sure these guys will be able to do that.
Okay.
With bolts on the wheel.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Questions, comments?
Do you not have the funding to do the lights currently?
Oh, we do, we can do the lights ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Ralph can do the lights himself. I'll leave me out of it. He's the electrician of lights.
Do you need helmets or anything?
We can use our fire helmets if we needed to, or our wide-awake fire helmets. I'm not gonna go buy another set of off-roading helmets. We can just use those for whatever the case may be. So.
We want to look at the safety aspect of that. I don't know what the,
What's that?
I don't know what the fire helmet is rated for.
I think it's good because I was listening to your last meeting with them fire helmets. Are as good as the regular helmets.
We also have
Yeah,
the rescue helmets.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Just in case of like a rollover or something, you know, there's a brim on those helmets that could create neck trauma.
Well, any helmet can cause neck trauma.
I'm sure there's a
Cause
state.
I go to Newport all the time and I see these guys wearing bicycle helmets in their side by sides.
yeah.
They got a helmet on.
No, the rule changed, if we had that discussion last meeting.
Yeah, we did.
Gotta be DOT.
I'm just saying, I'm using Newport because I've seen Newport.
I don't disagree with you,
Right.
but it changed,
Right.
even the opposite.
We don't need to worry
I'm
about
not gonna argue with you, I'm just saying what I saw.
I think you're getting on an awful pain.
Yeah, they get,
You know,
just to get back on topic, we could talk about the helmets later, but, Mayor brought up a good point. It's probably gonna be exempt for first responders, there's a lot of exemptions, so. But we do need to look into that, but for now, any other questions on the purchase or
Because
approval?
I'm
of
pretty sure
this?
any of our other sponsors,
Yeah,
they're not wearing them,
yeah.
so just saying.
And Shelley, we got the money
They
for
do,
this, okay.
they had a very nice sizable trust fund contribution, last year, the year before, that they haven't really used yet. They've done their chicken barbecue every year. There was one other source of revenue that you had that was under the one here. I don't think of it, but yes, they have funding between
This year-
donations and fundraising.
All right,
They've
this
done
year
their money.
alone, the donation, we already had 4,000.
Mhm.
Okay. If there's no discussion, no other questions,
I'll make a motion.
okay.
Second.
All right, so you guys got the green light, go get your new toy.
Got to call it first.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll just say it.
Aye.
Thank you. I always screw up at least one of those.
See, he was all excited.
Yeah, I was. Can't wait to see it.
How long did they say it will take to get?
He did say it'll be 3 to 4 months to build it.
Holy crap.
Oh, wow.
Because he did say he was gonna cut the chase and says, you're better off building it versus me trying to show you this one, that one, and this one. That way you get all the options that you want.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Okay, I like that idea.
yeah.
that way it's rated for
All right.
what we need to,
Yeah.
rather than putting in a new suspension.
You get what you want.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so, can't remember what we authorized the final cost for, it was 44,000 something.
Ish.
46 too.
46,200.
That's not counting the fee, so why don't we just say up to 48,000, that's what they're at.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Be careful on that thing.
No, we will.
All right, next we got liquor licenses for Tyler Place.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Liquor licenses for Tyler Place, so we need to go into the liquor control board. If I could get a motion to leave regular and go into liquor board.
Make that motion.
All those say
Second.
second. All those say
Aye.
Thank you.
Yes, we did.
That's 2 in a row. Are they in the, or who's got
No.
the, Wendy's got it?
No, so,
Okay.
Tyler Place typically has class 1s, 2s, 3s, and outside consumption permits to cover their season. Apparently liquor control decided that they have been doing it wrong, and the permits for them to have outside consumption around the pool area, because the pool area is too far from the main building, they are now having them do individual catering permits for every time they want to do that outside.
Like if you order at the pool, the waiter brings the drink?
I guess. So, because we already did the catering permit with a blanket approval months ago, and Tyler Place was not on that list. I mean, just this week, I've got 7 of them for different dates at the beginning of their season. So I called liquor control and said, explain this to me, like, what is this? He explained it to me and he said it's a fix for this season only. They're gonna try to come up with something a little more practical for everybody, because they've got to log on and do a permit every single time. It has to come to me for approval, back to the state. It's very clumsy. So he suggested get a blanket approval for the season, and I'll just sign off on them as they come through, because, like I said, today alone I got 7 for 7 different dates.
I agree with that.
So that's all I'm looking for is for the season, so I can add them to the list that you already approved back in March.
So one night a week, they do a meet your neighbors,
Mhm.
that when the new families come in,
Mhm.
and it's a social gathering around the pool, is what they have done in previous seasons.
Okay. So I'm still confused as to what we're supposed to be approving here.
To
Blanket.
authorize me to sign off on them blanket
As they come in.
Yeah.
as they come in for Tyler Place, because they weren't on that original list that you
Okay.
guys were paid.
Instead of doing it individually.
Okay.
Because they're gonna pile up, in like the month of July, we only have 1 meeting.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get backlogged, and just, this is how they have to do it, at least for this season.
I make the motion to allow Wendy to do a blanket approval
I'll
for the
second.
season for Tyler Place.
All those say
Aye. That's great.
Is that the only one was Tyler Place?
Yep.
Okay.
Make a motion to come out of the liquor control meeting.
Richard was second?
Yeah.
Okay, all those say
Aye.
Thank you.
Got that.
Try not to make fun. I'm trying. Richard, can you speak up a little bit? Sorry, just had to say. All right, next we got Highgate Rec Committee for equipment bid update. Received bids for equipment. And Mark, you're gonna make a recommendation for something here, it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yes. Well, our board was split, so we went out and we got 4 different bids, 4 different pieces of equipment. We went to Exmark, Ferris, Kubota, and John Deere. Price-wise, the Kubota and the John Deere were the 2 closest together, with the Ferris and the Exmark being almost $6,000 higher.
This for, just to clarify, this for the zero turn?
For the zero turn.
Okay.
Our board, we went over it in our last meeting, and we had a little discussion back and forth, and we're split.
No.
It was 3-2. Yeah, so in favor of the John Deere.
Going green.
You know, it's John Deere and Kubota, the 2.
Richard's not gonna be very happy about that, Mr. Noel. Choose. No.
I've had a fair for 17 years, I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
They're running like a cop. They're very
So-
differently built, that's why the cops aren't working.
Yeah. So John Deere for how much?
Uh,
38.
not much. That was both machines. So
Oh.
now they turn out for both machines.
You
So,
want the 997 or the 994?
so the 994R is 16, with municipal discounts and everything, is $16,118. The difference between right off the top, the difference between the Kubota and the John Deere is the warranty. You have to purchase actual warranty with the Kubota, whereas the John Deere comes with a 36-month warranty automatically. The lift system on the Kubota is hydraulic, manual on the John Deere. They do both have suspension seats, which is, after knowing today, is a requirement in hard fields. So, that's where our board was. We're split 3-2 on the favor of John Deere over Kubota.
Which deer, you got a job, or did you see them?
All yeah, all three, all four of them were priced out, were around 24, 25 horse.
They still use the Yamaha or?
Yes,
Yamaha dealer?
yeah, we still run one we have to do.
Okay, the next question is, do you have the money?
CIP,
CIP, okay.
$30,000 that was moved over from the turf,
Yep,
and they spent half of it, so
awesome.
I say they shot well.
I would say so too. Way to take care of the taxpayers.
yeah.
You're not tricking this thing out, right? That's it, you're stopping right there.
We might buy a quick shoot,
Yeah,
$200,
okay.
just for when we're going around ball fields, so we're not going grass on ball fields.
You got lights on it?
No.
No.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Some people do.
Guys doing?
Nobody knows what he's here for?
No,
He's surveying.
surveying what?
Okay, yeah, what? Got a GPS or anything, it looks like.
Google.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, can I get a motion? These guys to buy their awesome little zero turn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those say aye?
Aye.
And when you be able to pick it up, where's that gonna be built to?
They set up to 10 days.
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
10 days.
Get to use it this season, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Good deal.
As soon as you have some VIN information, you can get it to me so we can get on the Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, anything else on that?
Don't forget to use it.
Yeah. Grease the ball joints.
You got some too, right?
Don't forget.
Jesus, sorry. I was
All
wondering.
right. All right, next we got communication policy and social media policy review. They're two separate items. We talked about them a couple meetings ago. I think I read them on camera. From what I saw on the comms policy with press, communication with the press policy, nothing has changed there as far as I saw.
That's correct.
Okay. We'll come back to that in a second. Then the other one was the social media policy. And we talked about Wendy doing most of that, and we were gonna choose, what was the name of it? The government's, I can't remember what it's called. Government speech. Like two different forms of that we could choose. One is basically open like you would have maybe on your own social media where you go back and forth with everybody. Or ours is gonna be just informational, kind of one-way conversation from Wendy posting information to the public, but no response back, just so we don't get into that back and forth like some other towns have gotten into and gotten in trouble. So,
Right. So is this a apply to, because I run the town's page, but like rec has a page, library has a page, so everybody should be operating the same.
Same, I
as
agree.
it's approved.
It's a town-wide policy, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
I do need to check that.
Yeah.
Block the comments.
That's our.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Good catch.
One thing I thought about on that policy, Vern, and
Yeah.
I didn't read the draft, but, is there wording in there that there has to be approval from either the TA or select board to create a new page?
Yes, it
There is, okay.
I don't know about creating a new page, but the voice of the town is gonna be the town administrator or the chair, for any subject that comes up for public consumption.
Because I know at one time, when you and I talked, there was a new Highgate page being created.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
friends of, and
Yeah. We can't, if the public wants to create one, that's fine. We have no control over that.
is.
right,
Yeah, that community
Yeah.
forum, which I don't really care for, but that's not
yeah,
us.
but as long as the departments.
It's not a government function of the board.
Yeah.
Got a question, Ryan?
So just to clarify, anything posted needs to get approved by you guys? Is that what you're saying?
No.
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 Not the
I just-
content, creating new pages.
Pages.
Just wanted to open up a new Facebook page.
Yeah, no.
Instagram account.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
But let's say like, you post something and for some reason it becomes controversial, and then reporters start showing up, that kind of thing, knocking on your door, calling you, then that needs to come to Carrie and myself to answer on behalf of you guys after we talk about whatever the issue is.
Yep.
Just so we're all on the same page.
You're not friends with Highgate, you don't want to.
Correct. Correct. So, did everybody get a chance to read those? I don't have, for some reason, I don't have the one in front of me.
Some of that.
Communication policy, you mean?
The only thing I
The
would
social media one.
have the letterhead changed to reflect the
Yeah.
current select board.
I changed the one on my computer.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Government speech forum, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. So, if, minus the
Letterhead change.
the one letterhead change, with Kyle still on there instead of Chad, does everybody like the press policy one? Okay, we'll get your name on there, Chad. Can I get a motion to accept the new communications with the press policy?
You make that motion?
I'll second.
All those say aye?
Aye.
Thank you. And for the social media policy, I didn't see anything on that typo wise. Anybody else?
No.
To keep it consistent, you want me to put it on letterhead after?
Yeah,
Alright,
yeah.
I just
I think
realized that should
it'd be good on the letterhead, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just so there's no doubt as to where it came from, kind of thing. If everybody's comfortable with the social media policy,
I'll make a motion to accept social media policy.
I'll second.
all those say aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. I've been asking for this since 2018.
And that one does require, well, the select board to sign it, it's still
Yeah.
in effect, but I'll get it on letterhead.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sorry it took so long, Lenny.
That's okay.
Bit drag on our feet on that one. Public Utility Commission notice to the town of T-Mobile request for certificate of public good. No motion needed. Just paper copy on the table here. If you want to talk about this, because I'm still a little,
Well, I don't know a lot about it, but the Public Utility Commission process is almost entirely digital now, so they notice a town, it looks like it's about 50 pages. But if you want details, you can look at that, or you can go online. All of those documents and the list of people they copied for it are on their website. It's a state-run program. We have very little local influence over that process, but they're revising something on the T-Mobile cell phone.
is that all it is? Just,
That's what it looks like, but you still have to go to the PUC to get anything done. You have to
Okay.
go through that process, so I didn't read the whole thing, to be fair.
okay, it's out there if you want to read it and fall asleep. Right.
Correct.
Something to read right before you go to bed.
That's basically what we would sell power.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got some positions open here in the town, part-time position in the library, and since you guys are here, if you want to tell us what you got in rec.
Right now we have a part-time position posted for buildings and grounds. We're also, getting a full-time out. We'll have to post a full-time as well. Okay, so a full-time position will have to be posted here shortly as well.
Okay.
Basically, we're leaving our options open at this point. It's more about the right person rather than just filling it.
Okay.
So if the right person happens to be part-time and it's a couple part-time employees, then that's the route we're looking at versus full-time. If it's the right full-time, great.
Makes sense. Is this open to like high schoolers or?
The posting was 18 and over.
18 over, okay.
Yeah.
We are using some high schoolers for our programming, like our turf types program. We have a high schooler helping with that. If it comes down to needing some help this summer for like say weed whacking or light stuff, that's an option that we would look into. Currently, we're trying to 18 over.
Okay. No, got right time of year to advertise. School's just about all right. We're gonna be outside.
So basically, we're looking to make sure the grounds maintenance is done during the day instead of after school hours, because after school hours is when activities are being held on the properties.
Okay.
The ball field, all over the ground.
Yeah, the whole property.
Does anybody know anything about the library position other than part-time? I don't.
Yeah,
It's for a program director, right?
programming coordinator, 15 to 20 hours a week. Apply at the library with Christine by May 31st.
Okay, so you got all month to apply.
Yep.
All right. Next, we got RFPs, request for proposals for the demo of Mill Hill and the old Mesa properties across the street there. We got a map, if you want to hold that up to the camera, or I can. Is that the one with the circles on it?
No, it's the other
It
one
is.
up front.
Both of them are.
Okay. So here, I'll talk actually. That's right. So Mill Hill this is 28 Mill Hill. So we're looking to get that torn down hopefully by the end of summer, make that into a nice piece of addition to the park. And then this is the Mesa property. This is going to include the hotel and the barn right behind it, which Kerry did walk through with some contractors today to show them the insides of I think everything. And we wanted to make sure too, just in case any departments had stuff stored in that barn that it's not still in there. I think we just said there's a couple hockey nets or something in
There
there.
are a couple nets in the barn in the back that need to come out, but that's the only thing that Shelley and I saw in there that really needs to be removed. And it's not this week, but I would say by the end of the month. Because we're gonna have to do some testing and get some permits, so we won't be tearing it down in May,
Okay.
either one.
When are those bids due? It says due the following week. The bids are due next week.
They're doing the 13th of May.
Okay.
Usually, we did the walkthrough, then I'll do all the questions that came up, we'll post them on the website. I want to post pictures of the interior. We didn't get to see all of the interior of the old Maishi property. And then the bids are due the week after that
Okay.
for both properties.
And that's going to include asbestos inspection.
Correct, yep.
What do we have to do any archaeological stuff over there?
I don't believe so, because we've been working on that with the village wastewater project, and all three of the properties that are right next to each other we're already in that process.
Okay.
The middle property, the one that had the old garage, is the one that needs to be abated.
So theoretically, this should be somewhat fast project. Once the
It
bids come in
should
and get
be.
approved, yeah.
But I do have to, they said one of the contractors said it might take a little time to get the testing done and then get the permit from the state.
Right.
So some things are out of our control, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
Should be
Okay.
lead and asbestos.
Lead.
Lead and asbestos.
Did they get pictures when you did your site visit there?
No.
I didn't know what.
Nobody
No.
did.
Nobody did?
No, I didn't. Do you want pictures?
Well, I do, but I need to take some of every room in the old house because we couldn't get into that. I didn't want to go in that part.
one of us I can go in there this Saturday or something,
Oh, yeah, that'd be
take some
great.
pics.
Because I want to post it on the website, so all the bidders, we got 5 actually, so they all have the same information.
Okay.
And they'll price it more appropriately, and I hope lower if they know what's in there, instead of either assuming it's full to the ceiling of stuff when it's not. And I know that the Mill Hill property is empty. I've seen pictures.
That does have stuff in it.
So, Mill Hill, has anybody found the well?
Has anybody found
I
the
have
well?
I have not found the well.
Go with you sometime.
Okay, yeah, I do.
Okay, that'd be great.
Now that it's settled,
Yeah.
I'd like to find,
I
because
know generally where it is.
we really don't want to bury that.
No, okay.
I think
Yeah,
it's
so if you could identify it and then circle back.
I think it's probably buried, and then they might have cut it off and put it underground, because it's right in the edge of the driveway.
Does anybody do dowsing in here?
No, I think it's still at the edge of the driveway. You noticed that yet?
Did you see?
Yeah, an hour ago, right. And it doesn't have anything in it. The banks require them to clean it before they, last year.
Do we currently own that property?
We're in the process. We paid them. We paid them. The lawyer has drawn up the legal paperwork, and we're still just waiting for that executed document to return to us. It's been a week or so.
We need to record with the.
Yeah, so we just have to record that.
We've seen an email version of it, but we don't have it. It's not
Correct.
recorded.
It's very close.
Closest we've ever been.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest I've ever been to.
Yes, you're right. All right, next we're up to Shelley for town treasurer.
Oh, yeah, you already did the check warrant.
Yeah, do the check warrant.
We're gonna sign it then.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
Okay, so then I'll be very brief so we can get this meeting moving, but our total outstanding delinquencies as of 4:30 yesterday are $108,062.76. I've had 2 people call on the bar estate begging me to start the tax sale process because it's a hot commodity apparently.
Which one?
It's a beautiful salmon color with some broken windows on 207. So I am waiting because of that new law that they changed where I can't tax sale people until they've been delinquent for more than a year. And it just doesn't make sense to do it for one property to have to do the whole process again for the rest. So that's kind of the holdup on that. My only other update is our ARPA. We did that resolution in December, and yesterday was the deadline for reporting to the federal government how we spent it and what we spent it on. So I spent some significant time with Katie Buckley from Vermont Big Cities and Towns, and we submitted on time our expenditure report. So yay!
Thank you.
That's it.
So yes, thanks for doing the ARPA thing.
Oh, it's a stressor.
Well, it was a blessing and a stressor at the same time.
Yes.
You know.
For sure.
All right. Wendy, town clerk.
Okay, I will be brief as well. We are at 743 dogs and 100 plus to go, so we are pecking away at that. I will get with Shelby soon about the first round of fines and send out one more reminder. I had some questions about Memorial Day. I know you guys scheduled a meeting for Monday, but I'm starting to get phone calls. And other towns have posted when their parades are and things, so I want to get something out there to people if you know anything. Other than the barbecues at 11, that's all I've got so far.
The parade will start at noon.
Okay,
The parade is gonna start at noon.
Noon.
Yeah,
so it will leave at noon, so lineup will start prior to that.
yeah.
Okay, and you guys are having an organizational meeting on Monday at 6 o'clock
Yeah,
here?
right here.
Okay.
I will be come. I have already got a meeting already in Swanton. I'm still gonna be running the bake sale.
Yeah.
I wanna get some flyers out, and it's to benefit, I just wanna get this straight so I can get the flyers out. It's to benefit the memorial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm gonna need, I think I borrowed 2 long tables last year from the fire.
Yeah,
And I at least need 2 more.
you want more.
Yeah, you can spare 4 of them. 3, 4, at least 3.
I'll keep them for you.
Okay, so you and Keith and maybe Denise are gonna meet on Monday?
I'm on it.
You on it?
He said he would help that day, but he didn't want to plan. Try keeping him away though.
That's good.
Although, no, they're about half an hour wiggle room there.
So Ty, are you gonna be there that day?
I will be there that day. I'll set up sound. I've already bought 3 out of the 4 flags that are needed for the poles. 2 out of 4 have been changed. 4th graders are still, they want to be part of it still, so we will be doing this cemetery and not that this year.
Do you have a date on that? You
No,
don't
I
have a date?
don't.
Could you get a warm meeting, have a date?
Yes. I'll have to get the flags from you anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll get that out there and then Sue, I can get you a flyer for your bake sale. I think we have one. I can just change the date.
Just change the date and I can start bringing it down.
Okay.
So we can advertise.
That sounds good. The only other thing I have is just a couple of updates. We have a very small supply of green up bags left. They are at the back door here, and I do have a sign on the front door that I might have maybe 20 bags left, but they are at the back door if anybody wants to scoop them up. Leave them roadside to pick up on Monday, or put them behind the Public Works Department. I did give a fair amount of bags to the MBU student government classes. They have been picking up for us. The ATV club came and picked up some bags. I've gone through 3 cases, so that's a good problem to have. The Highgate School 6th grade is having a spaghetti dinner next Thursday, May 8th, from 5 to 7, to raise money for their 6th grade class field trip at the school. Correct, Ryan? Let's see. Big Rig Day, that's this weekend, 12 to 3 at the former Franklin County Fairgrounds, it says, so field day site, I guess. The first hour, 12 to 1, is a quiet hour for anyone with sensory or sensitivity issues to sound, but it is sponsored by the Bookwood, I think, Swanton Rec, and Highgate Rec. So that was pretty popular in past years, so that's a fun thing for the kids. And one more good event this weekend. This is happening on Sunday. It is a step back in time on May 4th at 3 p.m. MVU history teacher Jason Barney at St. John's Church in Highgate Falls at 3 p.m., followed by a tour of the manor and snacks and drinks in the ballroom. So it's all about Highgate Falls history on Sunday, May 4th. We have a couple of building maintenance things coming up. This building's going to be pressure washed on May 16th. It's a Friday. We budgeted for that. They swept the parking lot this week, so Highgate Fire did pressure wash the windows for us because they were dirty. So to get us through, but that'll be professionally pressure washed on the 16th. And we are also going to be painting. We painted this back room, the hallway, last year. We are going to be continuing that up front. We haven't painted up front in over 10 years. So that is going to be happening leading into the 4th of July holiday. It's a good time to be closed because it's everybody's celebrating something. So I don't know the exact dates we will be closed, but we will be closed a number of days, and we're going to be moving some offices around as well in preparation for our
We're also getting the lights.
Oh, yeah, and the lights. The
Oh,
lights
the
are gonna
lights.
be upgraded around that same time, so we're gonna be working remotely for a bit. We're gonna be, yep, in
Okay.
a mess and working remotely.
That'll be in July.
Probably the very end of June into the 4th of July, yes. But I'll post that well in advance and get the word out. We'll still be working and reachable, we just won't be here.
Yep.
So, that is it for me.
I got one question to circle back to Memorial Day. Have we, or do we plan on filling out the requirements for the bake sale and the chicken barbecue with the state so Keegan doesn't shut us down?
Be bad form for the health officer. Do that on his first official duty. Yeah, we should, yeah, get ahead of it, yeah.
Last year
I
Sharon
don't, actually, I was looking at Mary because I don't know. who did it.
Last year Sharon did it.
Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I do have one question, Wendy, and the girls, for in here, we had some pictures on the wall, and they weren't of Highgate. They were of like the Rockies.
Oh,
They
those
were
were
supposed
pictures.
to be sound, like
Those were-
echoing.
Oh, to break the
Those were
sound.
spongy things,
Okay.
and they didn't come off the walls very well.
Oh,
Which is why
So they
go
weren't-
back up after the paint.
perfect. So that leads me to my next thing. I was thinking maybe put out a plea to the public if you have any old pictures of Highgate, historical pictures. We'd welcome them. We'd be glad to frame them and put them in this room.
Perfect.
Highgate stuff, not the Rockies.
Yeah.
I always thought it was weird.
Not have the ugly sound
Yeah.
wall blocks.
Yep. I've actually got one picture I can donate for you, a good foliage picture I took a couple years back, so it's framed up, I just haven't used it. I'll bring that in.
Vernon, we
Yep.
did the thing over, what was it, a few years. I had a lot of pictures from way back. The girls wants to go through that. I mean, I
Okay.
did a lot of pictures. I have pictures from J.A. Field, Roger, way back. It was all along the board, so that's something they can get with me after. I still have it on me.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
I know where they are. They're not the best, but they're in my bed. I have them. I have them.
Sounds like a plan. Appreciate it. All right, we're up to Carrie, interim town administrator.
Yeah.
You're still here, great.
I'm still here. We're working on a replacement,
Yep.
which is always the plan. Great. So on the agenda, I put ATV ordinance. We did have that hearing or meeting where we took public comment at our last meeting. What you have in front of you is a rough draft. I very, very quickly updated the dates and the section that prohibited ATV travel on roads. It actually had a physical paragraph. I left it in there so you could see it. Specifically used to name the ones you could drive on.
Yep.
I think it needs to be changed, edited some. It's definitely not done. But just as a starting point, you can look at it if that's what you were thinking. It's not very long,
No,
Our TV ordinance is 2 pages, 4 pages.
Yep.
And that's what it was. Obviously, we have either the LCT or our attorney check to make sure the statute references are still accurate. It did copy very well, didn't it? I put on page 2, there were some exceptions mentioned at the meeting 2 weeks ago, and I'm not sure I caught them all, but I know we want to avoid the Tyler Place area.
Yeah.
So we'll amend that, but look at this, red pen it, or send me edits so that at your next meeting you can look at it so then we can send it to the attorney. Unless you think this is ready to go to the attorney, but I'm not sure that it is.
No, we got to throw Tyler Place in there. So Ray, I see you're here tonight. I'm glad you're here. So I think I wrote down 4 things from the last meeting that I think we wanted to include in this. I don't know if we're going to call it cruising. What are we going to call it? That's the best thing I can do. People are complaining about people on ATVs going up and down the same road multiple times instead of just going from point A to point B.
I don't know what you want to do.
We got to come up with some wording for that.
I think the biggest thing was that I talked to Gary about it, 3, where it says which roads, it says, removing where it says the following trail zone, and then remove the whole section that lists the certain roads that are open now. I'm not sure.
I think
Didn't see it.
the version she gave us has got that paragraph's completely gone. Yeah, it's gone. It's blank. It's actually right here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gone.
And Vern, you can use the word repetitive, I don't know how they say that, yes. For back in, yeah, nuisance.
Yeah.
Repetitive,
Right.
repetitive,
Okay.
back and forth, back and forth.
And then the other thing that was brought up at the end of that was, are we gonna put in here about where people, especially not so much people here in town that are gonna be able to go from their house to wherever they wanna go, but for people that come from out of town to bring their trailers, where they're gonna park?
Well,
We gotta come up
as
with,
far as the parking area, I would have suggested the arena parking lot if nobody's using it. But I don't know that I would advertise it.
the arena parking lot?
Yeah.
I think it'd be off limits.
Off the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Too much going on
yeah,
over there.
kids, all, yeah, right next to the school.
I don't see where you have to advertise any special place to park.
What we might need to designate where they can't park.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
you have to do that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All town properties.
Well, it wouldn't be offering a place for them to come and park.
Where they can't park should be in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think Bakersfield had that called out. Swan may even have it.
I'll reach out to Sheriff Grisnor. I don't know if they still have Vermont statutes from the 80s when we always used to cruise. Maybe they call it something different now, but maybe so you can grab some of that language and throw it in here and apply it to ATVs. Other than that, the parking, the cruising, Tyler Place, oh, Shipyard. So I drove down Shipyard last week, right before the meeting. Tyler Place has bought up some houses on Shipyard now where the boat launch is. They're working on purchasing properties. I think they bought like, looks like 5 or 6. So I know somebody brought up the meeting that Shipyard could be open to ATVs, but the problem is Tyler Place is up Shipyard now. So we gotta figure out that too. We're looking for your input on that. I can't remember who brought that up. Somebody at the meeting.
Yeah,
That was it for,
access to the lake.
Yeah,
But that's for winter
It's
time.
for winter time to get on the lake.
yeah,
I don't see where that's really an issue.
okay.
I think
I thought they were gonna leave it as all roads, but if you wanna put that in.
Well, somebody wanted to carve out for Shipyard, so that's why I brought it up.
That's good,
Yes,
so then Mike Fontaine, I think he lives right there, doesn't he?
So one of them lived up there now.
I think it was Zed.
So if that's the case, if they want Shipyard, then we could say, because that's a town road, we could say all of Shipyard's available up to the point where it borders Tyler Place property.
I mean, on town roads, not on shipyards.
What did I say?
That's what you said.
Okay, you know what I meant.
I think you just do Old Dock Road, Vern.
Yeah,
I understand Tyler Place owns some
yeah,
on Shipyard, but there's no, I don't believe there's any private residence on Old Dock Road
none. Okay,
anymore. They just bought Chevalier's.
yeah.
I think that was the last.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
What are they gonna do with that?
I think they're trying to do accommodations,
Wow.
the houses,
Getting
or
used.
staff housing potentially. I don't know the answer to it.
All right, so Old Dock Road.
So you're saying not Shipyard, but Old Dock Road?
Yeah, we need to block Old Dock Road, not Shipyard.
Okay.
That's what I took notes on. Richard, you weren't here. I don't know if you got to watch the meeting, talk about it. Okay. If you, I know you can't really talk right now, but you weren't here, so here's your chance to talk about the ATV stuff since you couldn't make the last meeting.
I was in favor of it from
Okay.
day one. I saw you guys agreed, and that's good.
Okay. Going down the table.
My issue with Tyler Place.
Okay.
Same, I'm looking at section 4, paragraph C, just does not make sense anymore. I think it's like it's edited at some point.
The one that starts off with a snowmobile.
Yes.
Snowmobile not currently registered with VAST being fueled at a gas station located in Highgate Center is presumed to have traveled on town roadways and is considered in violation of this ordinance unless the ATV or snowmobile is contained within the cargo area of a truck or secured properly on a trailer.
So that's a holdover from when there was
Yeah.
no ATV activity permitted at all. It looks like it's edited
That
at
whole
one
thing
point.
must be removed.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense if we're gonna open all roads.
Yeah.
So can we move paragraph C? Was that 4C?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Okay, 14.
Is everybody else saying on that or? No.
Yeah, it's not done. A couple people insisted it be at this meeting, but it really wasn't ready. It was half
No.
baked, but there you go. It'll be fully baked for the next meeting.
Okay. Anything else, Ray?
No, I think you pretty well covered it.
Okay.
It's, I don't know if you're gonna make a motion to accept the changes or.
We gotta wait till it's,
Yeah,
it'll be next meeting.
Okay. All right, I appreciate you giving me the time.
Oh, thank you.
Take care.
That's fine.
So I talked to Rick last weekend or the
Yeah.
weekend before. I know there was, in that conversation, there was some that want the roads open year round. Looking through, Vasa closes their trails. I forget what we talked about, Ray, but
Yeah, there's no need to do it year round because the trails are closed anyway.
if the goal is
December 1st.
to eventually have a trail network in Highgate and only use roads to get from trail to trail. I know people want to be able to ride to the lake. I want to be able to do a lot of things I can't do. I would suggest the town stick with what a lot of other towns are and what Vasa has for their rules. They have different dates for the roads that are open compared to their trails, but they call them both out
Okay.
along their website.
Yeah, but here's the thing, if somebody wants to go down the road and plow out somebody's neighbor, it's a four-wheeler, it's four-wheel drive, it's gonna plow on it.
Put a slow moving vehicle sign on the back.
Uh,
Put a slow moving vehicle sign.
It's not gonna pass the test with the local authorities.
And not
I think we should have a provision to
The
allow
back, right in the back.
those activities.
Sorry.
Sorry, we got a comedian over here. I missed what you were saying.
I think we should look into a provision to allow certain activities for the Vasa off-season, such as going to the lake. Just seems like the
They're
fair
gonna
thing
do
to
it,
do.
so
They're gonna do it
put it in
anyway.
they're gonna do it anyways.
But there will be enforcement this time. That being the big thing.
In the case of plowing driveways. with
I think we're
all-wheeler.
trying to make everybody happy.
Well, that's the thing, we can't make everybody happy.
No.
So I haven't been on the website to see when would you want to close the roads or what's the standard date?
I think they April 15th, close December 1st.
Open April 15th, close December 1st. Okay. Do we want to put those dates in the ordinance then?
I agree.
It's not going to be,
Set it in stone.
yeah.
I think you're gonna get pushback from the ice fishermen and the ones that want to plow driveways if you do that, unless we put a provision in.
An addendum to the addendum to the addendum. So now we got to do the ice fishermen and people plowing. Can of worms. It's a can of worms. Yeah. I get the ice fishermen because I know what, like Martin Store and all that, the guys come off the lake up there. They need that access in the winter. Yeah. They use their ATVs out on the ice and they go back and forth to Martin's to get stuff and supplies, so.
I mean, if you didn't put the dates in, if they were open all winter long, how many UTVs and ATVs do you really think are gonna be out there? Only the people that want to go ice fishing and plow someone's driveway.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't think you need to put the dates. Sorry, Todd.
That's fine, no, I was just,
Kind of eliminates all the other redundancies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes it easier and cleaner. Just no dates.
No dates? So we call this discussion for nothing?
No, just
So what happens if they're caught on the roads during them dates?
That's the thing.
Nothing.
Nothing, no enforcement, no nothing.
Or you put it in when they're saying you're allowed to use your ATV if you're in the, if you're ice fishing or plowing, but not just riding around.
Yeah.
So if you're the
Right.
Douglases who have heated ATVs and they're headed somewhere. That's what I'm saying, like, it's only the people that actually
Yeah.
want to be out there that are going to be out there.
Okay.
You're not gonna please
So
everybody.
you're making it more complicated than you
Yeah.
have to.
Well, Ty started all this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm okay with losing too.
She was looking at you.
You could, open up all the roads year round if you wanted to, but the Vassar trails are still gonna be closed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, this is kind of a big experiment to begin with right now, so yeah, I'd say let's leave out the dates. You could put in something in there if you're riding in the winter, it's only gonna be for the purpose of going to get gas and get supplies for fishing on the lake and plowing. I mean, do we wanna put something like that in there, or just leave it out?
That's it.
so, yeah, leave it out.
I think so.
Winter riding at your own risk.
There we go.
There you go.
Scratch that out.
Maybe we should talk about putting a Highgate trail fee or trail stamp to add to, so that people want to ride legally, pay an extra $1, it goes to Highgate, maybe into the general fund or something, or.
I think we're gonna have to do some posting, that, because I think there's some of these trails, class 4, we're gonna have some problems. And
If we put that stamp
some
in,
of
we
these
can pay for
owners
the,
aren't gonna want us on it. I know a couple right off the top of my head that, I think we've gotta make sure everybody knows that these trails are open. Post them somehow.
It's be posted on the website, and then VASA is gonna go on a complete public awareness campaign when we do get this about what's allowed and what's not. So we're really relying on your organization to help us out to make this work.
We'll speak with Brian.
Yeah.
Once it's done, we'll put out the information. And I told Carrie about this program, Right Command, that Clara's put out.
Yeah.
Once Highgate has an ordinance, then they want to finish mapping out Highgate and Franklin and a couple other areas that aren't done. The farther you go west, they're already on the maps.
Yeah, that'll be good. So hopefully we can get this wrapped up by the next meeting, take a vote and get it signed. Then we gotta wait 60 days. So, I got nothing else on the ATV stuff unless somebody else does. Go. All right, so we're about to close out, and then we're gonna go into executive, and we're gonna talk about, what are we doing?
Some personnel.
Personnel stuff, yeah. Personnel stuff. I'll leak it a little bit. It's gonna be stuff to do with the new TA. So we're gonna go over some paperwork. You guys?
Thank you.